spec, and lots of leaks. All this and more in episode 120 of the Inside Infinity podcast. Do you like Disney as much as we like Disney? Of course you do. Well, if you do, you should check out the Media Meltdown Mousecast. It's MediaMeltdownPodcast.com. The Mousecast is a bi-weekly show about all things Disney. Disney rumors, Disney news, theme parks, movies, all things Disney. Co-hosted by friend of the show, Steve Krell. And head on over to MediaMeltdownPodcast.com and check out the Mousecast. Hello everyone, welcome to Inside Infinity, episode 120, recorded January 18th, 2016. I got the year right this time. Welcome everyone, I'm one of your three hosts this evening. Hopefully all of these faces are familiar. My name is Will Kelly, and joining me, the man himself, the long-lost soul of the podcast, Mr. Jason Haynes, my favorite Aussie. How you doing, Jason?
Good. Been demoted to special guest. That's all right.
Did you ever heard me say that? I didn't mean to say that to your face.
That I pretty much am a special guest, and feel special to be here.
Well, you should. You're back by fan request. It's practically weekly. People are asking where you have been. We're gonna ask where you've been, but before we do that, that other name you heard there, that other voice, Lloyd Anderson. Lloyd, how are you tonight, my friend?
I'm doing good, Will.
Good. You started to give Jason crap, but he was talking over you. It's like things have never changed.
No, I wasn't giving him crap. I was saying, Will, you're using your inside voice. You're like you gotta not say that out loud. That's the problem.
Oh, I gotcha. My bad. Well, welcome everyone who is joining in the chat. Jason, I think lots of people are excited to see you. We have lots of people in there. I'm just going to randomly name out some names. What up, Abe? Good seeing you, buddy. Cindy, Joe, welcome. Captain Disney, Kingdom Keeper Parker, Parent Della Garza, Luxo, Cubele, good seeing you, Romulus, and none other than Papa Echo. Thank you all for joining us live this week. You can join us live each week. I'm not even going to throw out the days because it's changing with Jason being on. So just check out our Twitter. Head over to twitch.tv/Disney Infinity TV, and you can chat, and sometimes we give giveaways live. It's just a good time. You could hit that follow button, and then you could watch us live stream in the mornings and play sets and figures and all that fun stuff. That's enough of me talking. Jason, everyone's here to listen to you talk. Where have you been? Have you been gaming? Have you been playing Disney Infinity? What have you been up to?
Well, I've been relaxing poolside while letting you do the work.
That's news bulletin. We have made it so big. Jason can go on early retirement.
No, I literally been at work. I completed my Bachelor of Computer Studies. When was it? Like not long out. Well, just before I stopped showing on the show. And then I literally got a job like 1 week after completing that, completely not in the area of IT. And so that's where I've been. Effectively, unfortunately, I'm working while you guys are podcasting during your night. Yeah. And I'm doing currently hopefully temporarily working 2 jobs. So I literally leave the house at 4:30 in the morning and I don't get home till 5:30 in the afternoon. And I pretty much crash about 3 hours later. So there's been very little time in there to do anything, to play games, to create YouTube content, all that. But things are slightly changing this year now. I have to work weekends. I just came off a 7-day shift. So I get my Monday and Tuesday off. So at the very least, I'll be able to be on the podcast 1 out of every 5. And hopefully we can arrange something that I can be on at least one other more time than that. If not, I'll endeavor to do some stuff that you can either play non-live or whatnot. But yeah, literally just conditioning the body. Believe it or not, this is the first full-time job that I've had in my 35 years of living. And so I'm adjusting to it. I've always been self-employed and done what I want when I want. And I have to readjust to that lifestyle now. Wow. So that's where I've been. And the hardest part of it all has been not being able to do Disney Infinity, for sure.
Oh. You mean the show and then Disney Infinity, right?
Yeah, not even the community I've missed. I can't even be bothered checking Twitter at work technically I'm not allowed to check Twitter at work, but I do. But it's just, yeah, you get so out of routine, and I'm just used to working while you guys are having all fun chatting to each other, and so. Anyways, that's life for you. Got to grow up sometimes. So, but I'm back. I'm back here right now, and I've got like 3 months of pent up aggression to let out. So,
every time we talk about something juicy on the show, people are salivating for one of your rants. So hopefully you've come prepared.
Oh man, I rant all the time, still in my head, and it's just there's no way, unfortunately, to broadcast that. So.
Oh, too funny, too funny. Well, that's awesome. Hey, you know what? There could be much worse reasons for you to be absent from the show. So I think you being a working man is a good thing. Everyone misses you, but it doesn't matter about that right now because, like you said, now you're on the show and we're going to enjoy it while we can. And you're not going anywhere long term. It's just a matter of figuring things out. And so let's.
That's right. We just got to find that time when we can both get together, so to speak, which is hard across time zones.
Definitely. Well, cool. Well, I think Lloyd and I can both say that we're happy to have you tonight.
Oh, thank you. Great to be here. I always wanted to be on this podcast.
Oh, special guest. That's so weird. That's not right.
Whoa. What the heck?
And I crushed it. Thank you.
That was weird. Sorry, my machine just woke from sleep and it started playing all the things.
All at once.
In my soundboard all at once. That was
glorious because I started to look for buttons to press. I'm like, wait a second, that sounds familiar. That's not my computer.
I distinctly did nothing. I was just like,
I mean, Jason did it.
Jason broke it.
Same old.
You're back for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, cool. So let's hear a little bit about, since it's been so long. I should have gone back and looked when our last show together was. It's been a while. I know it was long before The Force Awakens came out. So
I should have listened to the show while I was away.
Yeah.
So let's call it even.
You should have. Yep. I'm blaming you. So what do you want to tell us? What you've been up to in the world of Infinity, if anything, or at the very least, I know you've been playing Force Awakens. So yeah, what do you think of that playset? What's been going on in your world of Infinity?
Well, to be honest, I was talking to someone from Disney over here the other day, and when was it? It was I'm trying to remember the timeline because I started working on toy boxes. We were working on Haunted Mansion, and I was doing a remake of Pirates of the Caribbean right about the time where I got the job. And I just remember, I got to tell you, the wind got completely taken out of my sails with that whole text bug. The whole where I couldn't do custom text, and I was just finding bug upon bug upon bug. And so, to be honest, I was quite happy to just put down the toy box for a bit because I think like a lot of people was like, just wait for the patch, for the patch. And unfortunately, the patch came after I'd begun work, so to speak. And so I sort of took a break from the toy box, took a break from Disney Infinity, effectively. I did pick up Lego Dimensions at Christmas.
Nice.
And it was through that I sort of rekindled my love for Disney Infinity, because after playing Lego Dimensions, it became really obvious. Like Lego, as everyone said before, Lego Dimensions feels like a Lego game with figures attached. And I was telling you before the show, I really don't like that whole color mechanic puzzle thing that's in Lego Dimensions. I find it extremely complex for the sake of being complex and annoying. But anyway, the point was, it just felt like I was playing a video game with just this attachment to the thing. And as a result, I mean, I've bought the Doctor Who expansion, but haven't played it. I'm looking forward to the Ghostbusters one. But I just felt like this feels super expensive for effectively just getting like DLC, so to speak, for a game. But then I suppose a lot of people, I had Force Awakens the day it came out, but I wanted to not play it until Kira, my daughter, had seen the movie, because I didn't want any spoilers, so to speak. And so I ended up playing it maybe a week or so after it came out, and technically she played most of it. I just jumped in when she needed help. But I immediately remembered what was so special about Disney Infinity when compared to something like Lego Dimensions. It feels so much more toys to life. Like I was really felt like this feels like a play set. I was once again just loving how everything's got the big red buttons and just feels like toys on screen. It really recaptured that magic for me. And then just not long after that, that's when the Walt Disney World Challenge was announced, which was what was the first one again?
Hollywood
Hollywood
Studios.
Hollywood Studios. And I immediately, my mind went back to all the rides I created for the Disneyland Challenge, and I got excited about getting back in the toy box again, and so yeah, I'm finding the time to pick it back up. I've just started another Pirates, the Walt Disney World version of Pirates, and it's all good, but I have some other things to say about it. As far as the Force Awakens play set itself, I thought it was good, but to me, the most disappointing thing about it was, again, I hate to reference it, but referencing all the way back to Disney Infinity 1.0, I was kind of disappointed that it just seemed like a cookie cutter retelling of the story. You know what I mean? The first Star Wars playsets were original story, so to speak, whereas this just felt like the best of moments of the Force Awakens film, and to me that felt not lazy by any means, but it just felt like, well, Disney. I've always prided the fact that Disney Infinity had original storylines or new interesting content to play, and the other thing is I really felt the unlocks in the toy box were completely underwhelming for the Force Awakens playset, but on the positive note, as usual, they nailed the characters. For some reason, I love the fact that Rey was doing all the what they call it when you're mining through the junk,
Yeah.
Salvage.
whatever that's called, salvage.
Yeah.
I thought that's cool. Again, they just nailed the characters. Kylo Ren just seemed great. That was all cool. I just thought, the story's just. Let's say I've just seen the movie. There's nothing new about it. I absolutely loved that mini game thing with the X-wings on the game table that you unlock. I thought that was amazingly creative and cool. But still, as I said, on a positive thing, it felt like play set-ish. It felt similar to what the Pirates and the what do you call it? The Lone Ranger playset, where it felt like this area that's like a playset that there's tons of things to do within it, which was really good. It still felt like toys playing with toys, which, as everyone knows, I'm always a huge fan of. But I'd still like them to go that little bit further, and I'm very interested to see. We may talk about this a little bit later. What the Marvel Battlegrounds is like, because I was thinking about it. My initial reaction to Battlegrounds was like, "Meh, that sounds not my thing. I'm not a huge Smash Brothers person or anything like that." But if I think about it in the light of the wheelbarrow I've always been pushing about, make playsets more like toy playsets, like legitimate playsets, Castle Grayskull and the like, Battlegrounds might actually be closer to that. It might, pull back on the story and just provide these locations and places to do things with your toys, so to speak. And I'll touch on that again when we talk about the leaked figures later in the piece. But how do you guys feel about... I must admit, I've been enjoying the slower release. Have you been enjoying that slower release, or does it feel too long in the tooth now, getting playsets so late after 3.0's launch?
It's good. It's good to get the playsets so late in the launch. With 2.0, we got figures really late, like almost right at the end before the new one was coming out. And we didn't really touch them in this house at all. Like I unlocked them, I leveled them up just to check out the powers, and then they went on a shelf. At least there's going to be a reason to play with the new figures. Most of them anyway. I like that compared to 2.0. I'd still like more playsets, of course, but I'm kind of digging the slower rollout this time.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, it's giving us something to talk about now that we're not just having to kind of grasp for topics. It's nice to have content to still look forward to, and you know you're gonna have something to do in the game other than just play and create toy boxes, which I don't think this late in the release have we ever had that. I'm trying to remember what the last playset was for 2.0, and I feel like it was prior to this point in the game last year.
They all pretty much came out right at the start. Like you had your, I think, wasn't it Spider-Man was the last one, and it came out like a month after the other ones or something. They were all right at the start.
We only had 3. That's crazy to think about now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow. What about you, Jason? Do you like it? Like the slow burn?
Yeah, I guess. No, I think I do. I think it is good to sort of spread it out. Although I feel like I haven't done the maths on it, but is there a lot more figures in this 3.0 than there was in 2.0? Because I feel like with all the figures that have announced to still come out, I'm like, wow, that's just a lot of figures. And as you said, there's not, for most of them, there's very little, like, for instance, the Good Dinosaur figures. It's like, I didn't really like the movie that much, and so it's like there's zero motivation for me to actually play with those figures. Of course, I have to get them, but you know what I mean? There just seems like so many figures that don't have a playground, which again we'll talk about a bit later. But no, I think it is nice having content and not just having huge gap of nothing and just being this constant. I can't wait for 4.0 to come out.
Definitely.
Easier on the pocket too.
Yeah. Yep. Well, Jason, anything else before we kind of move on to news items that you want to bring up or mention?
No, I'll mention it if it comes up in the chat. But as I said, I've got so many rants that I've forgotten them, and you might be able to hear my kids crying. They're still home from school, so it is a legitimate retro episode.
It is.
But I guess if I quickly speak to the toy box, I still can't believe someone told me, and I've confirmed it today, that they've broken the path tool in the latest patch, which obviously came out after I finished playing. And I'm like, out of all the tools to break, don't break the path tool. It's changed colors, I see, which is kind of nice. And but that's still the one thing that super frustrates me about Disney Infinity is the lack of not polish in the toy box, but just like it was the bugs that killed my passion for playing in the toy box originally, and the fact that it still hasn't been fixed, and not only has it not been fixed, it's been made worse, super frustrates me. And I just feel like I can't understand why we can't get some form of beta status. There's so many toy box artists out there that would be happy to bug test upcoming releases of the toy box. Strip out all the new content if you don't want leaks. I'd literally just give me everything that's been carried over, and I will play for 2 months and give you an exhaustive list of everything that ain't working. But yeah, it just frustrates me, and we don't know if 4.0 is coming out. But if it's 3.0 is anything to go by, we know that they've probably been working on 4.0 for at least a year, if not close to 2 years already. And it's just heartbreaking for everyone when it just doesn't work as advertised, and it makes it a frustrating experience. But kudos to all the toy box builders that have clearly been doing fantastic work out there, and you know, you learn to work around the bugs, and we work out little hacks between each other. But what other game is given that, you know, free pass, so to speak? Ubisoft would get slaughtered if they brought out anything half as buggy as what the toy box is in Disney Infinity. So
anything Bethesda.
Is
that what you were thinking, Lloyd?
Anyone who knows me knows I love the toy box. I'll always value the toy box over everything. But as I said, I just really hope that there's something put in place to make sure it's a bug-free thing. And again, we're removing this issue. We're going to see that figures are now requiring downloads, so there's no more excuses to say, well, everything has to be on the disc. There's no reason why we shouldn't be getting more frequent patches for the toy box to fix bugs. And I just feel like, and it's a gut feeling, I know nothing, but I feel like the team's probably, you know, all focused on 4.0 at this point, and 3.0 is just a thought in the back of the mind of how much they're working on community-raised bugs. I don't even know, again, is there a place on the forums that people are regularly submitting bugs and stuff? I don't know. I've been out of the game too long, but that's just my summary of a rant.
I think the difference this go around is there's 6 platforms that they're working on. So you have your 2 PlayStation platforms, you have your 2 Xbox platforms, you have your PC, and you have your Wii U. And every time they add something, anytime you add a figure that has scripts associated with it, those scripts could potentially break an untold number of other things that are happening. So for them to do more frequent patches seems almost like an impossibility with the way that the game is just out on so many different systems they'd have to submit those patches for, especially since every patch costs some money. Maybe if they eventually start weaning some of the last gen consoles in future versions, and we have less places where this thing has to live on, maybe then we'll start to see some more frequent patches. Because I know some other games do it where there's a lot of patches coming out. Like The Witcher 3, for a while, you were getting a patch and DLC every couple weeks for a long time. So it is possible, but yeah, it's crazy.
Do you guys see this kind of from a technical and with your experience and history in gaming? Do you see that, say, what if we do go we are now just going the Disney Infinity route. We're just moving forward from 3.0. We're not getting official releases at this point. We're just kind of going from this point forward, digital downloads for new content, new patches. Would that afford them greater opportunity to patch more frequently, do you think? Because you're not having to start from the ground up. I don't know if it would or not, but I'm curious.
I've always campaigned for that idea that it should just be a toy box platform that's continually updated and upgraded upon, rather than trying to shoehorn brand new releases. But also on on the same vein as what Lloyd was saying, something that I really want at the moment, and correct me if this has been changed or fixed since I've last played, but now more than ever, I would love the cross-platformness of it to gel more like together. So I could download the Android Toy Box app and have everything unlocked that I've unlocked in the console. If I had that ability, I'd be able to build toy boxes on the train, on the way and to from work, rather than playing Hearthstone.
Wait, say that again? I totally was not listening, but I think...
saying I would love all your unlocks to be cross-platform, so that no matter where you're playing, you've got access to all the stuff, all your figure levels, all of your unlocks in the toy box are universal, so you can build on a mobile device or a tablet and then seamlessly go between each platform. That'd be super handy for me at the moment. I literally wanted to do it, but it's just like, well, I'm not going to unlock everything on the Android version just to be able to build in the toy box.
So the way that works, so it's a little bit of both right now. So Jason, on the Android, on iOS, on PC, and Apple TV version, all of your toy unlock progress is there. So right now you could be building with all the same toys that you have unlocked on your console using your Disney ID. That's the only place, as far as I know, that syncs that, though. You can't sync, unfortunately, from two other consoles, and you still don't have the power disc unlocks and the figure levels, and even the what's that?
Is it even just the fact that you own a figure? You shouldn't have to do it on every single console.
Yeah.
It should, like, I guess with the new stuff coming out that's requiring internet access, maybe some of that stuff can be pushed into the cloud now, where some of that stuff gets written back to the cloud. Like, you put a power disc and it's like, if you look at the news feed, it's like, Lloyd put down a Ghost Rider's whip power disc. Yeah. It's like, okay, well, I did that. Why can I not? Why do I have to do that every single time? And why do I have to unlock R2D2 12 times? It would be really great if all that stuff was just pushed up into your master account, and do it that way. Because I don't know, when I got the Vita version, the fact that I had to go back and put every single figure on, and it's so slow, like it takes like 5 seconds for the figure to come off when you put it on the base. Like, it's so slow, and it's like, okay, do I really want to put every single playset and power disc that I own? Like, am I going to be using that stuff? And I was just like, yeah, you know what? I'm not even going to put the power discs down. I don't even care about that. But even just unlocking all my figures to get the experience boost was just like, oh my God, this is taking forever. It would be nice if we would just hit the server and see, okay, Lloyd owns every figure. He owns these power discs. Okay, his experience boost is 300% or whatever that number turns out to be. It would just save so much time when you open the new box of 4.0, put it in your console, and not have to do well, for me, not having to have my kids run to the figure shelf and grab all the figures and bring them one at a time, which is what I do because I can abuse my children in that way, I guess. But yeah, in the future, hopefully that is an option. I would love that.
Well, it seems like technically they've gotten part of it figured out, so it's just a matter of making those connections.
Yeah, just right back to require the fact that everybody needs to have an internet connection, or if you don't, it does it the old way. But if you do, then it looks at Disney ID and it pulls all that profile data from there. I mean, if they can do it on iOS and Android, they can definitely do it on the consoles.
Yep.
But on with the news.
On with the news. Awesome. Great. No, great stuff, man. This was the conversations that we missed. I mean, Lloyd and I obviously have similar conversations, but it's always nice getting a fresh new set of... We all have our own experiences and bring stuff to the table. All right, with that, let's just move on with the news. First item here. So I'm gonna admit it off the bat here. This news spread like wildfire over the last week, and so I'm not sure who. I'm trying to give everyone their due credit, so I'm not sure who mentioned it first. We are going to have some spoilers on some leaks coming up. Before we actually start discussing those, I will give you a spoiler warning if you want to stay not in the dark, but if you want those things to remain a surprise, those leaked figures and information, then you could turn off them. But the first couple is just some leaked release dates. These are items that have been announced. We know about them. This first article I'm pulling up on DisneyHolics.com, and specifically Amazon. So Amazon is the one who leaked this information, and they have since pulled this information. So we know that on March 1st, according to Amazon, because that is when the pre-order came up, we are getting the Nick Wilde, Judy Hopps, and Power Disc pack. There's that broken link to Amazon. So so this is going to be the Zootopia stuff coming to us on March 1st. It's pretty interesting that they are... So as far as we know, that's the next release cycle is March 1st. Then shortly after that, I'm bringing this news item up from DisKingdom.com. Marvel Battlegrounds. So Marvel Battlegrounds has a March 15th release date. That includes the playset as well as the Power Disc, the Marvel Power Disc pack, of which we're going to be showing here in a few minutes. There's a description. There's going to be 12 levels featuring 8 arenas, and some unique and interesting ways to use the power disc. So, gentlemen, March 1st and March 15th, it looks like that's when we're getting our next couple pieces of content. First, let's talk about the Zootopia stuff. March 1st with the figures and the power disc for that. What do you guys think about that?
Lloyd, you go first.
I'll wait for Jason to jump on it. I think it's great. The fact that we're getting some content so late in this release cycle is great. I'm not super excited about these figures because if it's not Star Wars, I kind of don't want to play it right now until March 15th, and then it's going to be all Marvel all the time. But I know my kids are so excited for the movie, and they're definitely going to want to jump in and play with the Zootopia stuff. So it'll be good.
So, Pirate mentioned, and then I'll give you a chance, Jason. Pirate mentioned last week one really cool thing with this year's releases: Inside Out, The Force Awakens, Zootopia. The movie comes out March 4th, so these, assuming that pre-order date is correct, these are coming out the same week of the release, earlier in that week, that Tuesday. This is awesome, and I remember this being something we talked about with Disney Infinity 1.0. We didn't get this in 1.0, any of this, and we didn't really with 2.0 either. I don't remember when the Avengers 2 movie came out, but wasn't timed to coincide with that. And this is essentially the third time we're getting this, and that's super awesome. I don't know, for me, guys, that's one thing I love about Infinity is like video games is my way of playing the way I played with toys as a kid. You go watch a movie, you're like, oh, I want to play more in that world. Like, that's what was so awesome about the Force Awakens, and it's cool that you can do that with these.
I agree fully with that. Like, I know Jason complained a little bit about the Force Awakens thing not having the same story. And the only reason why I gave them a pass on this one is because it came out at the exact same time as the movie. So it wasn't a new story. It was that. But it was nice going back and playing the old stuff with different stories. I'd love them to do play sets every single time a new movie comes out. I would buy all that stuff. I was the guy that used to go to a movie and then say, I'm not buying any more movie games. They're all terrible. They're all garbage. And then I'd go watch an awesome movie, and I'd go pick up the Iron Man game on my PlayStation 3 and hate it. But it's like, I love Iron Man. I'm going to play this. I would be so happy if every Marvel, Star Wars, and Disney/Pixar movie that came out from here on out had a play set available on release day. So you could go watch the movie, and if you like it, you go pick up the toys and the power disc pack and the play set and play through all that junk. I would absolutely love that if Disney did that. Plus, it would be a hell of a lot more content that we can talk about, since Disney doesn't seem to be slowing down movie releases anytime, especially with adding Star Wars now, doing a movie every single year.
Just props to Cindy. She corrected me in saying that it did happen with Frozen, and you are absolutely correct. Jason, are you excited about the Zootopia figures?
Well, I know. I like the look of them, but I was just going to say, it's like a blessing and a curse. It's like the Good Dinosaur. It's, to me, it feels like the figures come alive after you've seen the film. So if you're not super pumped about the characters once you've seen the film, you're less enthused about the character. But if you love the film, all of a sudden this figure jumps to life and you can't wait to get your hands on it. But that's just the nature of what it is. But there is something incredibly cool about, like, I picked up the Force Awakens play set and all the figures just before I went and saw the film, but I was more excited about the fact that the kids were going to know who the characters were after they'd seen the film, and that's what's so cool about it. It's like, I like that interactivity of it, that you can immediately after seeing a film that you really like, hey, let's go play with the characters now. Again, it just harkens right back to watching He-Man cartoons and loving getting the figures that you just saw in the cartoons, and get to live out those stories and adventures and delve more into the world of that character through the toys. So that's super cool. Just every now and then you're not going to love every character. Yeah, I think everyone agrees that everyone was so underwhelmed when the Inside Out figures were leaked for 3.0. And I'm like, wow, look at all the Inside Out figures. Like, really? Do we want 5 of those? And then the film came out and it was fantastic. Yeah. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, sweet, these guys are great. So, you're right. We've always said that this makes sense for Disney to do. I'm surprised they don't more heavily advertise it. I'm surprised they don't put trailers at the start of their films advertising the Disney Infinity toys. But anyway.
Yep. They're not doing this with the next Marvel movie, which is going to be Civil War Captain America, coming out May 6th. So it's a couple months later, but I don't think it's really as needed. We all know and love these characters already. So that's not I don't think as much of a requirement. I do think that they severely missed the boat, though, with the Zootopia characters. I think they should have. I mean, Nick and Judy obviously are required, but they should have had that sloth in there, because that's a character that everyone's really going to want. Gameplay may not be as fun, but boy, I bet the humor that would entail would be pretty awesome.
Definitely.
We're all excited about this Battlegrounds play set. In the Amazon release, there's a couple interesting tidbits, one of which I just mentioned: 4-player combat in 12 levels across 8 epic new arenas. So what we're thinking, 12 levels in 8 environments. Do you guys read it that way? Yeah. This is something super interesting, and we've known that you could use Power Disc in unique and interesting ways. Customize your game with up to 6 round Marvel Power Disc per match. So, what do you guys... Oops. Some Twitch inception there. What do you guys think of... that sounds super... to me, that kind of sounds like you're setting up your battle and what's available to you prior to the match starting. And then for that match, that's kind of like your loadout. What do you guys think of that?
Yeah, I think that's probably it. It might be similar to, say, Marvel versus Capcom, where you choose an assist character. Maybe you're going to use the rounds to have other characters or other bonuses or hazards on the level. So you could put down like the shield helicarrier strike, and there would be an item that would appear in the round where if you grab it, it does the helicarrier strike, almost like in Smash Brothers, where the smash ball flies around, and if you get it, you do a special attack. I could see something like that happening. The one thing that's interesting is there's going to be some characters. There's going to be some power discs for characters that are actually out or coming out. So Ant-Man, spoilers, and maybe some other ones, right? So how is that going to do it? Is it going to be boost if you're that character? Is it going to give other things? It's pretty awesome. I hope I hope you're able to like wear the Infinity Gauntlet. You put down the Infinity Gauntlet power disc, and that becomes an item that you can pick up and use. I don't know. It makes it pretty exciting. When they said that all the power discs would work with this playset, I was like, okay, well, I don't really want to have I don't know, Jack-o'-lantern's glider and the spider copter flying around. Like that's going to ruin the fighting. But if they do something entirely different, say if you put down the I don't know, a vehicle and it adds a hazard, or it adds some other form of damage that will happen. I mean, that'll be great. So curious to see how that all plays out. And it's good because I have all the power discs, so I can use them. Which is okay.
It's going to be fun. The environments are going to be interactive. You're going to be able to smash through floors, walls, tear down the environments as you battle to defeat the enemies. We know that you could have, we could use all of our characters. This just popped in my head as you were talking, Lloyd. So the development around this playset, it seems like it's a lot. I mean, you're essentially what sounds like, and what they've kind of mentioned is that they're redeveloping the characters. They're changing lots of things about them. That's a whole lot of work for as many Marvel characters as we have. I wonder if that provides a little bit of I don't know, more evidence to a different type of release, because that seems like just a lot of development time.
It almost seems like it's its own game. It's just like an additional. It's not like the Raceway, which was definitely built in Disney Infinity. You could pretty much build most of that in the toy box if you wanted to. What they've shown of the battles already, it feels like something that has never existed in Disney Infinity before. It's its own game. So I wonder if maybe this is another reason for the slowing of patches, is because you have this huge additional game coming out, which is going to be kind of grafted into Disney Infinity, and you'd hate to come up with a patch that would then impact the release of this, and that would just cause an added delay and different things that they'd have to do from a development standpoint. But it definitely feels like something different from every other playset and special disc thing that you'd put down that would unlock some sort of content.
Yeah. Thoughts on that, Jason?
Yeah, the only thing that frustrates me about it, as I said, I think it could be something closer to what I think Disney Infinity should be. What a playset should be is a place for you to play with your figures, so to speak. And I think I just don't understand, why would you make this a Marvel playset, and why wouldn't you make it like the vehicle racing and make it available to all the characters? You know, be able to have Mickey versus Spider-Man or whatnot. Like, the idea would be much more Smash Brothers. Like, I don't know, it's like, is there a story attached to this? Because it doesn't sort of seem like there's much of a story. I don't know. But it just seems like a missed opportunity to have a full-on brawler set up for Disney Infinity where you could just play all your figures in one big, thing.
Who's to say they're not including that functionality in the toy box, though, with as toy box unlockables? I mean, probably not as robust, destructible environments and stuff like that, but the ability to make these Power Stone type brawlers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
totally. That's possible. I'm just saying, I don't know
Yeah.
enough about it to determine. As I said, it seems like there's something that would have been good as one of those, discs to
I
put
see.
on the thing rather than a full-on playset
Which skirts.
that effectively limits it to Marvel
Yeah.
only.
Yeah, it feels like a licensing thing.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel's been really sticky in the past with certain things that you heard through the grapevine. So that's probably why this is a Marvel only thing. And also Disney has been sticky as well. They didn't want to have playsets have any other characters that weren't part of that world. This is kind of its own special thing. We've already done it in Raceway, so maybe that has kind of loosened up a little bit. But I still think that this kind of battle will be part of 4.0 is just on the disc. So it'll be another mode in the game that will have all the characters, I guess. I don't know. At least that's my hope. Like, my kids loved Skylanders, not because they liked the game. They loved the battle mode. They loved just picking their favorite character, putting it down, and having battles. And they would spend 5 hours doing it if I let them. They like Marvel too, so that'll be okay. But I know my daughter is going to want to play with Rapunzel and Elsa and other like Daffy Duck, some of her other favorite characters, Tinkerbell, and she won't be able to, and she'll be a little disappointed. And same with my son; he likes some of the Disney characters as well. Like, he'll want to be Hero and Baymax, and they won't be in this battle mode. So hopefully that gets expanded in 4.0.
And the thing is, that's Disney's the biggest complaint people have with Disney Infinity is the fact that it's not properly, you can't use every figure in every mode. And the fact is, if you're not a fan of the toy box, your figures are pretty useless. Like, why would you go out and buy the new Zootopia figures? Because they technically don't have a home outside the toy box. And as I said, if you're not into the toy box, there's nowhere really for you to put them. But a mode like that would be a place to put them. And well, I guess you can use them in the Raceway now, I guess, but that's still technically the toy box. You know what I mean? So I just don't understand because if Disney have skirted the whole the legal side of it, we're going, no, toy box is fine, playset not. Why can't they just ditch the playset and call everything toy box? Does that not solve the issue? Because it's literally technically basically the same thing. One's just a little bit more, predetermined, polished. Is this literally just a name issue that Disney's okayed anything you put toy box on? We'll just change it to say toy box, Marvel Battlegrounds toy box, and allow everyone in it.
Romulus in the chat is making an excellent point, stating that if they're adapting all characters for fights, that's 100 plus characters. And we just mentioned how much of a task it must have been just for the Marvel characters.
I'm pretty sure Disney's got the money to employ as many people as they need to get that done.
But that's not how game development works. That's what people always say.
Disney Infinity is not a normal game. They just made over $2 billion with Star Wars. I think they could shave a little money off the top there to inject some money into the biggest Toys to Life franchise in the world.
The real reason why they're not doing it is because these characters would just win all the time.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be fun anymore because you'd have your Kylo Ren would be just killing everybody, and then Finn would come in and put on his stormtrooper suit and just wreck everything. That's the real reason. Those characters are far too powerful.
Yeah.
Schooled.
All right. Well, I mean, it's Battlegrounds is awesome. I'm excited for the Zootopia stuff, but it's just, and that's probably why they're separating this release, because Battlegrounds is gonna own the show at that point. Super exciting. I think now is the spoiler alert moment of our show. We are going to be discussing leaks, some big leaks, some very exciting leaks. That being said, if you don't want to be spoiled, if you want things to remain a surprise, I would say turn off the show now. We'll probably be talking about this the majority of the rest of the episode. Super fun and exciting stuff, though. So, that's your warning. Gents, are you ready to talk about this?
I don't want to find out the spoilers.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is a point of the show where we're actually just going to broadcast directly to Lloyd to make sure he sees the spoilers. So, InfinityInquirer.com posted this over the weekend, and not only that, there is a super awesome roundup. Not only kind of stating the facts of what has been leaked so far, but also giving some opining a little bit on the information that was released. So I'm just pulling it up on screen now, and this is infinityinquirer.com. What's up, Jason? Shout out to you in the chat, buddy. So we got not only some leaked power disk, which I'm showing up on screen right now, but also very, very small. And then we have Marvel figures, and we're gonna break these down a little bit. Not I'm just kind of giving you the 30,000 foot view here. We got some kind of known figures. We've got some figures that we have seen leaked before. Some that were supposed to be announced earlier, but they never made it. We have this is something kind of new, and it makes perfect sense with the 3.0 release of having it's the first real version that we've been able to have a pure downloadable version, since every platform has had the ability to carry over those bases. So now you can get the starter pack figures for 2.0, and then bam, this guy, which made a ton of people happy. So this is again on infinityinquirer.com. This is a great rundown. These items were leaked on retailer website B&H Photo Saturday morning. So first, let's talk about the power disc. Like Lloyd said, we have seen them. We've seen a very blurry accidental release shot of these, but now we have some information about them. We will discuss what this little Wi-Fi signal means. But if you can't see it, this guy right here is the Tesseract. That's what that cube is. Next up is Novacore. Then we have Darkhawk. And then we have Ghost Rider's bike there. So people couldn't see you, Lloyd, so you're back on screen now. You're giving thumbs up.
Yeah, I love Ghost Rider, so that's going to be awesome to ride around in his motorcycle with flaming wheels. It's going to be a fun thing in the toy box, I'm sure.
Yeah, and it totally makes sense with the whip, right? That's
totally.
What you just said.
I'm going to get a Ghost Rider figure now to go with the whip and the vehicle. Probably not.
Yep. So what do you guys think of? I have it back on screen here. The Tesseract. Is that going to be? What do you think that is? Is that going to be a weapon? Yeah.
Or maybe it's a power up, but yeah, it's probably going to be a weapon. Not like the ones you call in, kind of like the shield strike.
Yeah.
You call in this blast from the Tesseract that would hit the ground in front of you and destroy everybody.
Yep. That's kind of what I was thinking. Jason, do you like the Ghost Rider bike and Tesseract?
I've got zero feelings for the Tesseract at all.
Really?
Ghost? Yeah, yep, no. Couldn't even tell you what it is.
At least you're honest. You know, it's in lots.
Cool.
In the Avengers, the first one. It's been all over the movies, but the first one, it's the one that when Hawkeye turns bad, he gets the black eye. Have you seen the Avengers?
Jason, how long have you been gone and you come without doing your homework, Jason? I'm very disappointed at you.
It looks like the same thing that was in Transformers. Isn't there also a cube in Transformers?
That's it. Oh my goodness, Jason, we're gonna have to have a chat off.
Yeah, you're done.
I'll tell you all these things.
You're done.
Bad gamer, I'm sure, is just cursing my name. Yeah. Look, I don't need a history lesson after the podcast on Twitter. Thank you, everyone. I don't think I've put down a power disc yet in 3.0, so it's pretty hard to get into that. I just bought all the power discs, but I've not put them down.
Translation: send Jason all your thoughts on what the Tesseract is. There were no. It's important to point out that there were no descriptions released. A lot of times we get those descriptions on pre-orders. We didn't get any here. The Novacorp, as Jason mentioned in his article, Jason inquires that the Tesseract and Novacorp seem to be event disc, like what you were saying, Lloyd. And then Darkhawk, that's his name, right? Isn't it? Darkhawk. He looks to be a team-up disc, right? For the...
one and teaming up with Spider-Man and all that stuff. And it's like, okay, I haven't thought of Darkhawk forever. For him to be coming into the game this way is kind of odd. Maybe he plays a part in the new Avengers movie or the like Civil War coming out, or
what's the Infinity War? It's 67 characters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So bizarre, but yeah, whatever. You got to get the obscure figures in every once in a while, or the obscure characters in it once in a while.
Jason's saying Darkhawk is so random. He loves it. Prototype is saying that there is an Infinity Stone gem inside of the Tesseract. You are exactly right there. And then obviously the Ghost Rider bike. It's just, which is also just seems kind of like the game's been waiting for that. I mean, the game is full of vehicles, and that is a very iconic vehicle. All right, gents. So those are the Power Disc, the Marvel Power Disc, coming out what we would presume to be March 15th. And now let's talk about the Marvel figures. So we're just going to go in order here. We've seen this guy before. I can't remember. Was it in that lineup from a long time ago? I don't remember. Oh yeah. Oh, that's right. That's right. But those were pretty low quality images as well, right? It wasn't small. So this is the first real good look we get of Vision. He looks awesome. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. He's Vision Infinified. Jason. So Vision was in the latest Avengers movie. It looks like he's got his Infinity Stone in his forehead, right? Yeah. Flying character? He's got to be, right? Yeah. Cool. Anything else about Vision you guys want to say? Oh, well, that's no fun at all. Oh, yes, that is true. Oh, bummer. Well, that was for the entirety of when things were on screen. Great. All right. You guys are saying how much you loved Vision. We don't have to go through the whole thing again, but I do want to
and I was saying, who's Vision?
You were saying that, weren't you, Jason? Funny guy. All right. So next up here, this one, something that's super interesting to me for lots of different reasons. One of which, we haven't even seen a very good shot of this guy in any of the movies yet. This is like, Infinity is breaking some. I mean, well, no, I guess we saw him on the Entertainment Weekly cover, I think, and he's briefly in a trailer. Yeah.
Kind of the same look as well. Kind of ready to pounce, looking up in the air, kind of pose.
So cool looking though.
He does. He looks way more badass than he did in the comics. I like the new look where all the lines on his suit are kind of brought out and made to be something other than just designs on a rubber suit. So I like the look of this figure.
Kind of reminds me of like some carbon fiber or some of like Batman style mesh. I mean, I know we're not different, not crossing comic universes here, but yeah, I like what you're saying. It looks like it has a purpose other than just design. Mm-hmm. Jason, thoughts on Black Panther?
Never heard of him.
He's going to be in Civil War, so you're going to get to know him a little bit better.
I saw that flash of him in the trailer. That's the first I've ever seen or heard of the character. So, but I agree. Looks good.
He's a pretty popular character, right, Lloyd, in the Marvel's universe?
Yeah, he's had his own comics. He's been in every major franchise story from pretty much all the different teams have had a run-in with Black Panther. So we'll assign some homework.
What's his power? Is he fast, strong?
He's a prince, and he is super strong, and he has razor blade nails, and he can jump really high. So he's kind of like this crazy ninja almost. Like he'll play like that in the game. I'm sure he'll be like really fast, and it'll be kind of like, I guess, Stitch, how you could kind of move and jump really fast, or Yoda. He'll probably play like that kind of character.
Interesting.
James in the chat saying Black Panther had one of the best comics in the early 2000s. Great reading.
Yeah, totally.
Cool.
We'll assign some homework, some reading homework for you, Jason, after the show.
I need it. Thanks for asking that question, though, Jason. I didn't know. And then we got this little guy. Not so little, after all. Ant-Man. Finally. This is what that small silhouette. Yep. That small silhouette in Hulk's hands. We finally get to see what this guy looks like. What do you guys? So I was thinking about this the other day. Do you guys think this is just padding? Padding for why do you think he was so close to being announced and then all of a sudden yanked out it?
The movie. He must have been ready to be announced right around the movie, and then they're like, wait, you're not launching him now, you're not announcing him now. We want him as a big part of this new playset we're working on.
Yeah,
and
big part.
That's probably what happened, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of stupid because we knew he was coming. It was teased. We saw the image. You saw Hulk holding him, and we just had to wait months and months and months to finally figure this out. I mean, it's going to be almost a year from when we first got the teaser to when this figure actually gets released.
Yes, yeah, it's. I don't know. He's going to be worth the wait, I think.
Yeah.
At least, Lloyd, like you said, if he would have been released back then, we probably would have played around with them a little bit and set him on the shelf because we didn't have any new content. With this, we have some new content to throw him in and
totally.
Mess around with.
You would have been just another character to mess around with for the few minutes when you got like your Hulkbuster or Ultron. Basically, there's really nothing to do with them, right? You could just run around with them and play with them. This would be another one of those characters.
Okay, so Carrie in chat, Jason is reiterating this. Really interesting. I'd not heard this before, but saying that this character was based on his new costume, which is what will be seen in the new movie, not what was released in the old movie. Interesting.
You mean the original movie that came out just not long ago?
Yeah. My bad. The Ant-Man movie, it's not the same costume that was there, but it's going to be the costume that is in Civil War.
So that's probably why they didn't want to release the character.
Makes sense.
When they actually were going to announce it. Actually, that's kind of strange. You would have thought, because I guess Ant-Man would have been made a long time ago. That speaks to how far in development these things are, aren't they?
Yeah, but how's that? Yeah, totally. But how do you miss that detail? Like,
Maybe they had to redesign him. Maybe they redesigned him from his first release. Maybe they had him sculpted and ready to go, and then they changed it so he'd look more like the new movie.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Abe in the chat saying Funko Pops have had the outfit for a while now. So,
sure.
Interesting. We'll probably, actually, we may find out one day. That's one thing that's been kind of cool with Infinity. We found out details after the fact before.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then the last one, not a whole lot to be said, other than the fact that he's the only one missing the Wi-Fi signal. Black Suit Spider-Man. People have him. Lloyd, you have him actually. Are you? For someone who has them, though, are you excited that it's getting a more universal release? Anyone can go out and buy the individual figure?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's essentially the exact same as Spider-Man. There's nothing different about him. The weird thing about this figure is if you put down the symbiote suit power disc underneath him, he turns into regular Spider-Man. So it's just like he's the mirror of the Spider-Man figure that we already have from 2.0.
Really?
That's
cool.
So if you have Black Suit Spider-Man, you put the symbiote suit under him, he turns into regular colored Spider-Man.
Should have turned him to like Carnage or something.
That would be great. So yeah, I mean, he's essentially the same. I'm curious whether this patch that's going to come out for Battlegrounds is going to change him up so he plays different in Battlegrounds than normal Spider-Man. We'll have to wait to see because they said they're going to do that with Captain America, where the new Captain America is going to play very different than the original one, like in the whole game, but I guess for Battlegrounds as well. So I'm hopeful that Black Suit Spider-Man might play a little differently, at least in Battlegrounds. Since it doesn't have a Wi-Fi symbol, I don't know if they're ever going to make that change unless a patch comes out to enable that if you have the patch, you get a better Black Suit Spider-Man than if you didn't have the patch.
Yep. Any thoughts from you on that, Jason?
No.
No.
Move
All right.
on.
So
Listening
continue.
to my girls causing a havoc. What
Oh,
are they
that's
doing out there?
just means you're back.
Yeah.
Jason's article is actually making a good point here that I missed when I briefly skimmed over this. So we've gotten the Avengers playset sold separately already, except that only came with Iron Man and Black Widow. This comes with all three of them, which were the original. So no. It'll be interesting to hear why we're getting this, the triple pack with these characters. Maybe it's just the triple packs were, I believe they were a deal, right? Didn't you save a little bit of money? It's been so long since we've had a triple pack. Maybe it's just to entice sales for Battlegrounds for those that may not have these three. If you're just jumping into 3.0, you probably would not have many of the Marvel characters, so this might be an opportunity to get them. Now let's talk about this guy. Jason, I'm super excited to hear your thoughts on Baloo. So this was really cool because, well, lots of reasons, but we talked on last week's episode, Lloyd. We talked last Wednesday, January 13th, I believe it was. JV mentioning, oh, I'm sorry, you weren't on the show. That was with Steve, the two Steves. Pirate mentioned and brought it to my attention that JV asked if we were to get a Baloo character, what character as fans would we prefer? And I think it was just that open-ended. And then, Saturday, that same week, we get this leak. And I would imagine this may have been the most painful leak of the week for JV. He was pretty upset, sadly, about these leaks. I don't know. Jason, what are your thoughts on Baloo?
Good. It seems the
That's
weird
it?
question to ask on JV's behalf. What if it went the other way? And they were like, "No, we want the new Baloo." That would have been awkward.
Well, that's why
I don't want to put yourself out like that, but obviously I'm pumped that it's the original Baloo.
Yeah.
I think it's once again just an amazing sculpt of the figure. Probably one of the best originals I've seen, to be honest. Just as far as capturing that. The emotion of the character and just overall looking very, very similar to the Baloo from the original cartoon. I guess the only thing. Well, I'll wait till tell you what you think about it, and then I'll expand on my thoughts then.
Lloyd, I'll pass it over to you first. Baloo, do you like Baloo? Do you and do you think?
I do. I want Tailspin Baloo. I want every other figure that was in Tailspin.
Yeah.
I want all the jump characters. Like, I love Baloo, but I want more than just Baloo. I want to have all the other characters in the world as well.
Yeah.
Particularly Tailspin costume change disc would be perfect. Please make that happen, JV. Love you, JV. Please make that happen.
Sorry, things got spoiled. As we talk about here on this week's show.
Yeah, this. As you were saying, this really hurt JV. He was visibly upset on Twitter, and he was really, really disappointed. That his teasing must have been the greatest thing. Like, he's sitting there in his office. He's like, they don't know anything. This is going to be awesome. I'm going to drop it on him. Well, bam! And then the weekend before, or 2 weekends before, whenever this news is supposed to drop, it gets leaked. It must just let all the air out of his sails. I feel so bad.
Yeah, it's a bummer. It's I saw some interesting conversation on Twitter about that over the week, and it's no pun intended, it's part of the game. And I mean, in an ideal world, nothing would be leaked. And it's a super bummer when they do leak, but it's out there. As far as I could tell.
Sorry, I thought you were done. I didn't mean to talk over you. I guess this is the one figure that he said, one unheard of, unleaked figure that everybody's gonna love. This was that one, because we already knew about all the Marvel figures from the previous leak. So kind of sucks.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised I didn't see, and it kind of guided the decision for us to talk about on this week's show. I didn't see any sort of takedown notices from Disney this week, so that's why we're here. Once the cat's out of the bag, we're talking about it. I love the fact, like you said, it was a total smokescreen. JV is sitting there probably laughing to himself because it would make sense. And even historically speaking, Infinity-wise, the Maleficent we got was the Angelina Jolie version with the live action coming out then. This is, I would assume, to kind of coincide with the release of the live action Jungle Book, and yet we are getting the total fan service, the classic blue, which is just right for tailspin skinning. So
I can't wait.
I'm stoked about this. Yeah, super awesome.
I just think like before, I just feel like figures need more, because I love the Baloo figure, but like Lloyd said, it's just a Baloo figure that's going to have some good sound bites on it, and you're going to be able to play with it in the toy box. But it's just, in my opinion, not enough. I feel like every figure, if you're not going to be in a play set, at the very least, every figure should come with like 5 or 10 toy box unlocks. You know, so you get the tailspin plane, you get, you know, all these other things to play with, so that there's a reason to put the thing on the stand, so to speak, and just adding that value to the purchase. Because yeah, it just feels like, okay, cool, so now I've got to wait around for, or either I've got to build myself a really cool Jungle Book toy box, or wait for someone else to do one. But then it's still like, I mean, the whole thing with Blue is he interacted with Mowgli, whatever it is, whatever the boy. If you don't have that figure, it's like they're the duo, they're the team. So it's just going to feel like you got one half of a team, and no other way to interact with that other character. So it just feels a little empty. I mean, I think a Jungle Book, I mean, one of the best NES games ever was that Jungle Book game on NES. It's like, why haven't we got something to do with them? Like, even in 1.0 we were getting those adventures. Remember, we were getting toy box adventures. There'd be a specific level for each character, but we're not really even getting that anymore.
Well, we got them at 3.0. We got lots of those for 3.0 release toy box only.
And
characters.
I know the toy box mentors are working on content for specific characters too, which is really good. But yeah, for me personally as a collector, and I love collecting things, I'd love if there was more toys unlocked with these figures. I think that'd make it so much more exciting to get those figures.
Just like what they were saying for 2.0, where all the mentor team was going to be working on content boxes for every single figure that was coming out. And they didn't really say that in so many words, but it was heavily hinted. And I was like, that is perfect. You buy a figure that is only in the toy box. You have nothing to use that figure in except for toy box you make yourself or ones that you find. It would be amazing if you dropped a figure down and immediately a toy box was unlocked that you could go and experience that world for that character. Sadly, that's not happening. Like, the adventures in 1.0 were really small, and some of them were just like duplicates, almost like reskins of other adventures, but at least it was something for every figure. It's like, here's this thing that you can do. You can only do it if you have this figure, so get all the figures and do this stuff. I would love that. Mini adventures with every figure would be great, because
and it'd be awesome if it was a showcase of all the new toys that it came with. So then you drop down Blue, and here's the level where you get to fly the tailspin plane and do loop-de-loops or whatever. And it's all about showcasing all the new toys that have been bought along with that character. So it's a fresh experience for you, because you're going to see all these things you've never seen before, which just make an amazing experience, as I said.
So not Disney Infinity. If you want to hear more about it, check out Inside Dimensions with Lloyd and I. But Lego Dimensions does something similar to this. They don't have, obviously, the additional toy box toys to unlock. It's just a different game. But when you buy any character from any property, you get access to kind of their adventure level.
It's called an adventure hub.
Adventure hub, which is it's kind of an open-ended area, but it's cool that, like, I was in Target today. They had some characters on sale, and I'm looking. I was like, well, I don't have any characters from this property, and I know even if I just spend this $7.50 or whatever, I can access that adventure world, and having that included with a Infinity toy box only character would be awesome.
Be amazing.
Yeah. So
And it makes even more sense now that we kind of alluded to it, the fact that these characters require an internet download.
yeah,
So it's
yep.
not on the disc anyway. So there's nothing stopping them adding new toys in. They don't have to be creative toys, nothing that can break anything, but literally just new decoration items or whatever to be, download with the character. Makes all the sense in the world.
Well, and actually, that was what I was going to say. So this Wi-Fi icon you see here, and you see it on lots of different, on everything except Spider-Man in these pictures and the Avengers. It means you have to download an update for the game. It doesn't mean you have to be connected to the internet while playing the whole time. It just means that you have to download because the content's not on the disc. That really does open the door for lots of different things. It opens the door for, if this is the way the releases happen from this point forward, then maybe Disney would be afforded the time to create individual kind of character levels to play with these figures. So who knows? Who knows?
It'd be great. I mean, that's what Lego Dimensions does, to talk about that game yet again. Before each content wave comes out, there's a big patch that comes out, and it unlocks the content for those figures. So, like, Ghostbusters is coming out tomorrow. So you could, if you somehow got the toys early, you wouldn't be able to play the Ghostbusters level, but a patch came out last week that adds this new world, all this extra content in. So we could see patches like that in 4.0 maybe, where they just allow all that stuff to come out in waves.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be super happy about that. It just seems weird. You're buying a character for $14 or whatever it is in the part of the world that you live in, and all you get is that character. It'd be nice if there was something that only you get as an owner of that character, an extra bonus thing that you could play with, other than the character itself.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yep, totally.
Well, cool, guys. I think that is going to wrap up the news this week. The very
very thin. Not much news.
Nothing of controversy. Nothing dividing. Just pretty lame, boring stuff. I'm tired of making up stuff to talk about. No, not really. I mean, it was a great for us, I guess, as a news show. Mad props to Infinity Inquirer for posting about all that. Again, head on over to infinityinquirer.com to check out this rundown. It gives you all the details. Talks a little bit about what the internet required symbol means for the update, and some other information about possibly what this could mean moving forward with additional releases. So head on over to infinityinquirer.com for that.
It would be good to have someone on soon to actually talk to the community about the whole process of why they have to send out all this artwork to retailers and stuff before they've announced it. Like, obviously retailers need artwork to put on their websites and stuff like that, but like, how many times has it been now that a retailer has leaked these things, and why is it so pressing that Blue couldn't have been announced the day before they send out the content to all their retailers? Like, it's pretty, you can't feel too bad about it. I mean, it's not like this is the first time it's ever happened. Oh, that's disappointing.
It's weird because around E3 you get a bunch of surprise game announcements, but all the retailers have no problem that day putting up box shots to get you to get pre-orders in. It could be something similar for these things, but I guess they have to work with suppliers, and it's a little bit different when you're dealing with a whole bunch of little plastic figures in big boxes compared to a DVD case, essentially, which takes a lot less room. You have all these big retailers have to plan for orders and storage and shipments and moving the stuff throughout their system. But yeah, it would be really nice if they could announce it at the same time that they send it to all these retailers, to give them time to order it before it comes out. But at least then it doesn't get leaked by BH Photo or Amazon or Best Buy or Target or whatever. Because, they haven't announced anything that we haven't already heard of yet in 3.0. We kind of knew everything because of all the leaks that happened. It's kind of terrible.
Yep.
Yeah. I want them to release characters with cool trailers during Toy Box TV, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it totally sucks, but it's like, it'd just be interesting to know why they are so adamant in sending out box shots of these things to retailers when they don't need to know what it looks like in order to place orders. Fair enough. Don't you mean like it would have been less disappointing if we go, oh, Baloo's coming, but we didn't see what he looks like. At least
Yeah.
hold that back from us. But anyway,
Yep. And then once it's funny, like even if you want to stay away from them, if you are tuned into the community at all, you're gonna see it because someone somewhere is going to post about it. So it's yeah, it's the game, I guess. So well, gentlemen, Jason, any last minute rants? People are saying they need more rants in the chat room, or we done for the week. You gonna hold on for other?
yeah, Corey, I don't know. Like, I got to save some for further appearances.
You don't want to sprain- you don't want him to sprain his rant muscle. Come on,
That's
he
true.
has to
That's right.
sit it once. He's gonna.
I've only
This is
just
the
got
warm-up.
back into the toy box. I'll probably be tons of toys I can rant about next time I'm on,
Awesome.
which will be soon.
Will be
very
very soon.
Yeah.
Well, great guys. Well, this is a great show. As always, it was such a pleasure. Jason, great having you back again, and Lloyd, thanks again for coming on another week. We're just gonna go down the row here. Lloyd, where can people find you? What are you working on? You got anything else going on this week?
Well, it's the Wave 3 release for Lego Dimensions. So we're going to be doing a lot of coverage over at the Inside Dimensions podcast over at res.tv. Tomorrow night, hopefully, provided all the stars align, I'm going to be streaming the new Ghostbusters content there. So that'll be a lot of fun. But if you want to find out all the stuff that we do on the res.tv network, head on over to res.tv, rezd.tv, or rezd.tv, depending on which part of the world you come from. All the shows that I host are there, and you can check out all that great content right over there.
Yeah, you just posted
also, Twitter. Dasme on Twitter as well.
Sorry. And you just posted a Nintendo show. I know a lot of our listeners are Nintendo fans as well. So Nintendo Pulse, everyone should go check that out.
Yeah, we talked about an interesting topic this week. Amiibo sales. That two words that you never thought would be side by side because they were so scarce. So we asked the question, have we reached peak Amiibo? And we talked about it for a while, which is
cool.
Was kind of fun. So check that out on Nintendo Pulse over at res.tv.
Awesome. Jason, Sarvinator in the chat is saying, good show, but someone needs to get you a Marvel encyclopedia. After you're in between your next hiatus, you're going to be on some more shows here real soon. But after that, in your next hiatus, we're going to get you a Marvel encyclopedia. And it's great because it just means I can deflect all my lack of Marvel knowledge onto you. So where can people find you? Are you still on Twitter? You still bugging the community? Yeah.
What are they, at the Jason Haynes, I believe, still.
Yeah.
Last time I checked.
Remember, tell him what the Tesseract is
Yes.
at the Jason Haynes.
Do it.
And otherwise, you'll see me hopefully just on this show coming soon, and maybe on the PlayStation.
Yep.
Soon. I don't know when I'll get back to streaming because my daughter wants her own bedroom, so I'm getting kicked out of my office. So all of this going to become a bedroom, and I get a shoebox for a study. So
Awesome.
We'll see.
Awesome. Well, it's great having you, man. Seriously, it was a long time coming. People have been really excited about it. The chat was just blowing up. And in fact, I kid you not, this is the most live watch show we've had as far as viewers in quite some time. So I'm going to contribute that all to you. It means now I'm going to retire because you can run things. If you're looking for me on the internet, you can look for Twitter at Iliam, ILIAM, or at Disney Infinity TV. Also, check out Bad Gamer and I. We live stream Tuesday through Friday mornings on this Twitch channel. We live stream Disney Infinity gameplay. Going to continue my Force Awakens. No, what was it called? It was called, I don't know, the crazy cooperative toy box made by all the toy box master artists. So. Super cool. I'm excited. That was fun. So, yeah, gents, thank you so much. Thanks everyone who joined us live in chat. We appreciate it. And if you couldn't watch us live, you're tuning in on iTunes after the fact, YouTube after the fact. We really appreciate it. And we miss you live, but that's okay. We like that you listen to us and watch us any way you can. That, everyone, I think we're going to call it a week. Thank you so much for everything. Until next time, we hope your week is filled with infinite possibilities. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode of the Inside Infinity podcast. If you like what we do, please look for us online, subscribe, follow, rate us. We really appreciate it. Also, check out our parent network, res.tv. That is where the show is hosted. You can find us there, and all of our other content. Also, thanks to all of our patrons. Really appreciate it. You saw our Hall of Heroes patrons scrolling across the top throughout the entire show. If you'd like to become a patron, head on over to patreon.com/DisneyInfinityTV.